popular sport than hockey. And I'm not knocking the Whalers situation at all. I mean, it was great to have the Whalers here. It was wonderful for the Hartford area's pride. But in terms of football, I mean, it's not going to be a problem to sell out this stadium. One thing that we here at Fox have to pay attention, though, to, because we have the NFC contract, which primarily means Giants games, is this going to affect if we're going to be able to air a game on a day when the Patriots are playing at home? Because as it stands now, I believe the day that Patriots play at home at a specific time, Fox in Boston could not air a game at the same time. So how would that affect our Giants coverage if the Patriots are at home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and the Giants were also playing at 1?
Okay, we are going to check in with Rick Hancock, who's live at the Capitol right now with a little bit more on all of this. Rick, it's still unbelievable.
It's still unbelievable, Carol Lee. That's correct. The biggest obstacle, obviously, is the next 45 days. A special session will be called to negotiate this deal to see if everyone can sign on the dotted line. Tom Mischuk, who is here, Fox 61's Tom Mischuk, has talked to some legislators, and so far, most that he's talked to have given the okay and think that the deal should be able to happen within the next 45 days. Just, again, you and Tony have been talking about some of the highlights, and of course, they call this a big day, not only for Hartford, Connecticut, but for the state of Connecticut. Mr. Kraft seemed quite moved by the response that he received by the people. And this room was packed, and Mr. Kraft received a very warm welcome here in Connecticut. There is a huge contingent of Massachusetts, particularly Boston media here, who peppered him with questions about what's the impact for the fans that lived in the Boston area, and then did he have any apprehensions about the state legislators, particularly the State House in Massachusetts, that pretty much didn't give him his way. He had the support of the governor of Massachusetts as well as the Senate, but the House blocked the move, and it's the move that now Hartford, Connecticut, and as Governor Rowland says, the entire state of Connecticut will benefit from.
I can't.
Rick, I believe the big deal here with regard to the Patriots and the reason that it got done is because now Robert Kraft can also create more revenue streams with the hotel development as part of the entire Adrian's Landing project. Had it just been a stadium deal,
correct,
maybe it wouldn't have been enticing.
Correct. The hotel deal that you mentioned, a big retail, NFL retail company that apparently he will be building, or were incentives that he couldn't pass up. And I asked the governor the question about Adrian's Landing, and if the state wasn't already in the process and had already approved $300 million in state funding, this deal probably wouldn't be coming here to Hartford, and the New England Patriots could have ended up in L.A. or someplace else.
Again, to recap, the entire Adrian's Landing project is going to encompass, of course, the Patriots coming and playing, the University of Connecticut football team playing there, and something that wasn't mentioned a lot, but Robert Kraft also owns the MLS's New England Revolution.
Right.
So that soccer team could be playing here and occupying the stadium during the summertime. In addition to that,
in fact, Tony, we just learned today that Robert Kraft purchased another soccer team.
That's
so
correct.
He owns 2 professional soccer teams, and one of those, we understand, will be playing at the new stadium here in Hartford.
Mm-hmm. Rick, something else that you had mentioned before with the Boston media peppering Mr. Kraft with some questions. Mr. Kraft really seemed to emphasize what the warm welcome that he did have, especially with the governor, and it seemed in some ways to allude to the relationship or lack of with Mr. Finneran, the House Speaker in Massachusetts. What was your feel on that?
Well, I'm not up to speed on all what's going on up in Massachusetts and Massachusetts politics, but obviously Mr. Kraft is from Massachusetts, so it has to hurt somewhat that he will be leaving the state where he was once a fan, as he mentioned during the news conference, that he was once just a fan sitting in the seats with the other fans, and obviously it hurts him somewhat to move the team, but he said if he didn't, if this deal did not come up with Hartford, that he was either going to have to sell the team, and a new owner most likely would move the team out of the region. So he's hoping that the folks up in Massachusetts will understand and will still support the team because they still will remain in the New England region, although here in Connecticut.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. Reporting live from the Capitol. Thanks a lot, Rick.
So again, the funding of this $350 million stadium will be paid for through the sale of bonds, and then the bonds will be paid back basically through a 10% tax on tickets to all events that are played on that stadium. That's basically how those bonds will be paid back.
And certainly the governor had mentioned that this redefines the city of Hartford, as he was emphasizing the entire state, but it also gives a psychological lift, I think, to the entire area, that you're going to have a big player back in the city. But once again, just to emphasize, this is a 30-year deal, a 30-year commitment, and the first game would be 2001.
2001.
Yes.
It's very exciting stuff to think that Hartford once again can be considered a big league city. And again, the key, the Adrian's Landing, the entire project that would help boost the Hartford economy and the region's economy, it's got to affect Bradley International Airport, the traffic coming in there. It's got to affect corporate headquarters moving into the community, because don't forget, I mean, we here in Fox, of course, have the NFL, but when the Patriots are on CBS or they're on ABC's Monday Night Football, that's just another promotional announcement for the city of Hartford.
That's right. Now, we will have complete coverage of all of this tonight, all of the players who will be buying the skyboxes, how this will impact business, and anything else that you could possibly think of. We will have it tonight on the News at 10.
Thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day of programming here on Fox 61.